Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. Today I'm proud to announce my second ever tag video, and that is the Clive Barker books and movies tag. Stay tuned. Okay, first of all I just want to say that last night I was tagged by Bad as Rad to do another tag, but I was very committed to actually creating this tag for myself, and so I'll definitely get to that tag next week. I think it was about Edgar Allan Poe, but yeah, just enjoy this tag right now. And it's got 12 prompts, and the first prompt is just the author, Clive Barker. Name a book written by a diverse author and or containing diverse characters. Okay, and my answer for that was The Ballad of Black Tom, which I actually spoke about earlier on my channel, and I'll put up there because it's on Kindle. And this was an awesome retelling, Lovecraftian retelling of I think it was Horror at Red Rock, if I'm correct. Kind of going along as I go along. Yeah, it's an awesome little Lovecraftian tale about this black guy with his guitar, and he ventures a little bit too far into these white neighborhoods, and things get very weird and spooky and kind of Lovecraftian. So yeah, it's an excellent tale. That is A Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Lavelle, as far as I remember. Okay, next up we come to the books, and the second prompt is Books of Blood. Name a book that has blood and or gore on the cover. Now I could have chosen quite a lot of nasty ones because I've got a lot of books with very nasty covers, but I decided just to go with something simple, a little bit soft, and that's World War Z. See the blood spattered on the cover. Yeah, it's a great zombie book, like kind of looking back after a zombie apocalypse. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I actually reviewed this book right at the beginning of the year. And this is highly underrated as far as I'm concerned. It's a fantastic book. So yeah, that's World War Z. Okay, the third one is The Damnation Game, which was a novel that came out after the Books of Blood short story collections. That was his first novel. And the prompt says, name a book where a character or characters take sides with the devil or demons. Now, I used to own this book. I think it's another one that got lost in transit. I think it's part 5 of Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles. I love the first 3. I've mentioned that. And this is Memnoch the Devil, where the character Lestat actually sides with Memnoch the Devil. The devil actually persuades him to join sides, so and it kind of ends up being a little bit of a bad decision. So yeah, it's sort of where the series starts deteriorating a bit. I think out of the later novels, this is one of my favourite. I still probably only gave it about 3.5 stars, because the first 3 were just fantastic. That was The Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Lestat, and Queen of the Damned. And number 4 is a short novella, The Hellbound Heart. The prompt says, name a book that contains plenty of body horror. Now Clive Barker is well known for his body horror. Another book that contained a lot of body horror, I only gave it 3 stars because I felt it was a bit repetitive. That is Neck Cutter the Troop. And I know that I am a minority in saying that this book is not absolutely brilliant. There are so many people that give this 5 stars, and I can kind of understand why. People say it's like a kind of Lord of the Flies meets, I don't know, something else, but it's a crazy book, and people die in horrible, nasty ways, and bodies fall apart. There's a lot of body horror. I just found it a little bit too repetitive for my taste. So yeah, that's Neck Cutter the Troop. Okay, and the 5th prompt is Weaveworld, one of my favourite novels of all time. Name a horror book that is set in a fantastical world and is a mix of perhaps different genres, horror, science fiction, fantasy. And my answer for that is the entire Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which is set in just the world building in the series is absolutely phenomenal. It takes place in all sorts of weird and wonderful locations. And yeah, that's my answer for that. I mean, I've got the entire series. I would love to read it again before I die. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the chance, but I want to. But yeah, this is just the first part, The Gunslinger. The sixth prompt is Imajica, one of the longest books that I've ever read. And therefore, the prompt is, what is the longest horror book that you have read in your lifetime, in your life? And for me, that's it. It's coming in over 1,400 pages, close to 1,400 pages. I don't think another book has come close. But there are two parts to that question. That is A. The second part says, do you prefer shorter novellas or massive chunky books, and why? And my answer is, I like a little bit of a blend of both. If I really sometimes want to get into character development and world building and really getting into the stories that just can't let go, it sinks your hooks into you. Sometimes longer novels are better because there's more space for that. But sometimes you do want a shorter, sharper, just a gripping ride to the end. So it's a matter of preference, I think. But lately I've been kind of going with a little bit of both. Yeah, so that's it by Stephen King. Okay, prompt number 7 is Thief of Always. That is Clive Barker's, one of Clive Barker's 2 YA books. So my question is, name your favorite YA horror book. And I think I've actually got a couple, but I've picked out Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I know this is a wonderfully, deliciously dark tale. And if you haven't seen the movie, man, you have to do yourself a favor and see that movie. It is phenomenal. But the book is really also pretty awesome, about an alternative world where she goes away from her home down this little rabbit hole, and she comes across the other mother and the other father, and they want her to stay with them forever. So yeah, that is Coraline. The 8th prompt is Cold Heart Canyon. Name a book where ghosts take center stage in the story. Now, I don't own this book anymore, but it is absolutely frickin' terrifying. And that is Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, where this aging death metal rocker acquires a suit on the internet, this dead man suit that is haunted by its ghost, and it's fast paced and it's terrifying and it just goes crazy downhill and really good. And basically this rocker, his hobby is to collect things on the internet that are kind of off the wall. He collects things that other people would never think of collecting. And yeah, he goes for this dead man suit and his life changes. It's a great haunting story and it's very fast paced. But in my mind it's not as good as Nosferatu, which is an excellent Christmas read. For me, that is his best novel ever and one of my favorite novels of all time. So yeah, that's Joe Hill, Heart-Shaped Box. Okay, and from the 9th prompt onwards we're going to the movie section. And the 9th prompt is Hellraiser. Name a novel set in hell. Now, there was one that came to mind immediately, although it's more like a kind of purgatory, and that is The Black Farm. But I'm not going to go with that because I'm going to be doing a video review, just a bit of a teaser there, with Baddies Rad, because we both buddy read The Black Farm, which is an extreme horror novel. So I'm going with something completely and utterly different, not even a horror novel. Okay, and it's the only one that's not a horror novel, and that is John Milton, Paradise Lost. Now I studied this at university and it actually was pretty frickin' brilliant for an epic poem. It's a classic epic poem about the fall of man, heaven and hell, angels and demons, and it is set in hell and it's set in heaven and on earth, and there's such a lot of like rich imagery and stuff that comes out of this poem. do yourselves a favor, even if you just think you like horror, maybe just dip into this, like, you know, kind of stroll through it a little bit and see if you can find a bit of a section that you can read. Some of it's difficult reading, but I actually found it very intriguing, telling a story about the fall of man and about Satan and about good versus evil. So yeah, that's Paradise Lost. That's my choice. Okay, the 10th prompt, one of my favourite Clive Barker movies, and that is The Midnight Meat Train. Name a story that takes place underground. This could be a subway, a cave, a mine, anywhere below the surface of the earth. And I'm going to go with one that I've actually spoken about already on this channel. It was a Richard Lehman Midnight's Lair. This was a lot of fun, a lot of kind of weird sexual stuff going on, but it takes place in these kind of tourist caves that are blocked off, and these people underground are shut off, but they are not alone. There are other things down there with them, and it's kind of very creepy, very atmospheric, and also very messed up. You know, there's a hotel above, the owners of this whole tourist attraction. I've given a full review of this, but they are up to all sorts of messed up stuff with some of the guests in this one room. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You either love Richard Lehman or you hate him. I'm starting to really enjoy him, so I'm looking for more of his books. But yeah, Midnight's Lair, Richard Lehman. Next up we have Candyman. Name a novel based on myths, folklore or legends. Because remember, the whole Candyman film was like an urban legend that you say Candyman 5 times and he's going to get you. You look in the mirror and say it. Don't say it, whatever you do. And I've gone for The Horror by David Sodergren. As a Swedish writer, I read this book a couple of months ago, 3-4 months ago, and yeah, it was absolutely excellent. And it's about these property developers, absolute bullies, millionaires, whatever, and they descend upon this Scottish town and try and buy them off. They want to make a golf course, golf estate. And this little old lady is having none of it. And one of my favourite characters, she's so feisty. And she basically fights back, and then she gets help from the most unlikeliest of places. So it's actually quite a gripping story, quite haunting. I can't remember everything about it, but I really, really enjoyed The Horror by David Sodergren. And number 12 we have Nightbreed. Name a novel where the reader feels more sympathy to the creatures or monsters than the humans. So that's sort of what Nightbreed is about. You have these kind of half-breeds, monsters, actually they're being tormented by these humans. It's the humans are the bad guys. It's like this weird thing that goes on there. But my answer to that was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Now, I know I've got the novel somewhere, but I'm going to put it up there because I'm not going to spend half an hour looking for it. I didn't rate this as highly, but I did say in my review that one of the things is that I felt the monster, the Frankenstein's monster, I felt a lot of sympathy towards, whereas Frankenstein himself was a complete arsehole. He was irritating, he spoiled the book a bit for me, so I don't think there's a better example of that than Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. Okay, and the 13th point is to tag people. Now, I'm going to, because this is my original tag, and it seems to be the kind of thing that people do, is just to tag a shitload of people. So that's what I'm going to do. So I tag, and remember, you're under no obligation to do this tag, but I think it's a lot of fun. It would be nice to see you try it out. I tag Crystal at FiberRT, MJ at Reading His Life, Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads, Angel Can't Read, Sins Booknook, Roy Reads Everything, Michael Wittenberg, Jason's Weird Reads, C. Crits Read, David's Book Reviews, Ed Lewis Reviews, and Ander Kent. Now that's a lot of things that I'm going to be putting down below, but if you haven't checked out any of those channels, please check them out. They're actually pretty awesome. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. This was a lot of fun doing a second tag, and yeah, if you really want to do this tag, there are a few people I didn't tag because I was a little bit concerned that they said to me they don't like doing complicated tags. So if you want to do this tag, please feel free, consider yourself tagged. And until next time, take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.